Who are you and what do you do? What made you first want to be an entrepreneur? Can you remember how you got your first customer? Are you okay to answer some quick fire questions? Welcome to the JOD Pod, a micro podcast where we interview CEOs, founders, entrepreneurs, authors, and coaches. Today we are joined by Konstantinos Ntoukakis, co-founder of Studio for Digital Growth. Great to have you with us today, Kay.
It's a pleasure to be here, James.
Thank you very much. Listen, we've spoken a few times before. We've worked together, but for those of us who don't know who Konstantinos is, who are you and what do you do?
Well, that's $1 million question, right? So I am a marketing consultant. I am an SEO consultant and co-founder of Studio for Digital Growth. Studio for Digital Growth is a marketing accelerator. So we work with entrepreneurs, such as coaches, consultants, and other experts, and we help them to scale their businesses with website marketing. I also write a weekly marketing mentoring newsletter on Substack. It's called The 20%, which gives you exactly the 20% of the information that you need and avoids talking about the 80% of the things that you shouldn't be doing in your marketing.
Marketing information overload is a real thing, isn't it?
Absolutely, and there's just so much information, and people just read all these different blogs, different techniques, hacks. It's all about taking shortcuts, and what we've learned that it's actually all about doing the hard work and having a framework to guide you through what you should be doing, and actually knowing what to avoid is equally important than doing things.
Shock horror that hard work pays off, Konstantinos. I'm interested because you've got a few fingers in a few different pies, which you've already alluded to there. But can you remember when you were maybe a little bit younger than we are now, what made you first want to be an entrepreneur?
That's interesting. I think it came as natural progression in my career. So I was working for companies in the marketing field, and eventually I wanted to actually be able to help people more, do bigger impact. It's funny how in some cases, like having a steady role in a company doesn't allow you to do that, right? You have to manage a lot of relationships. You have to compromise, cut some corners, and just drag things. But working in the setting that I do now, I can actually have a bigger impact to the people that I work with, and I really enjoy doing that. So I think it's in the end, it's about just enjoying my work more.
Can you remember a specific moment though that before you were an entrepreneur, and actually when you became an entrepreneur?
It's interesting because I cannot think of such a moment. Like this is my second business. I started my first right out of university.
Wow.
Then I tried a more conventional career path, and then started the business again. So perhaps it was something I was always interested in, and tried it in different times in my life, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. And can you remember how you got your first customer?
I think it was through networking, just chatting in different Facebook groups, on LinkedIn, just trying to build relationships really, and try to help people. I think it was some conversation about a Neil Patel article or something. I just contributed something interesting. Someone liked it, and then she was like, maybe we should just actually jump on a call. And I remember I was at Cafe Nero, I was having a coffee. It just happened spontaneously, and just jumped on a call and started working.
That's fantastic. So you're in a cafe drinking your espresso, and you're with your pecan slice, and on your laptop chatting away, talking about a Neil Patel article, and out of that came a client. Brilliant.
Exactly.
That's a great way of grasping the nettle of entrepreneurship. I love that. So what are you working on now, Konstantinos? What's the main driver for you?
Well, it's Studio for Digital Growth. We actually work with coaches. We try to help them scale their businesses. And when you work with individual entrepreneurs, the way that they do marketing is very different to the way an SMB does marketing. Although I do both, like I always do since, I don't know, close to a decade now, some SEO consulting on the side. But definitely Studio for Digital Growth is, let's say, 80% of my focus right now. And the newsletter and Substack, of course, the 20%.
And for those people that are thinking about starting their own business, how does Studio for Digital Growth work? Is it that you've got an idea and you're not sure how to start, or you've already started and you've hit a few roadblocks and you need some support? What are the main, I suppose, problems that people are facing that you'd be able to support them with?
I think that we judge it case by case. The most important thing for us is to be able to help someone and not just drag things or work in collaborations that won't be fruitful. Usually we work with people that have already like a successful business, so they do have a product market fit, and they feel they could be doing more for their marketing and they want to scale better. And I think I touched a little bit on this just before, but entrepreneurs that are or solopreneurs in most of the cases that are running a business do a very different kind of marketing than an SMB does, right? So they're mostly working with ClickFunnels, with sales funnels, and all their marketing is around a personal brand, which is a very different thing than an SMB usually does. And we realized this as we started working with such people. And then we decided that, this is very interesting because it's just so different and because we could really do an impact here. And in the end, we developed an entire framework about how to approach this type of projects. And mostly it's entrepreneurs that are scaling.
So if anybody's listening to this that is in that stage where they've got product market fit and they're probably running it under a personal brand and winning business and selling through a personal brand, but they want to take it to the next level, and that scale, that bit of the scaling journey is incredibly challenging. That there's a framework that you develop that you can support people on that journey. And what we'll do is we'll share the link to what you're doing there, Konstantinos, in the show notes. So if anybody like that is listening, they can take action and have a look at that themselves. Are you okay to answer some quick fire questions?
Absolutely, let's do it.
Let's do it. Fantastic. What's your favorite app or SaaS product that you use every day?
Fantastical. It's a calendar app, and it's fantastic. So it allows you, basically it integrates all the different services, right? So it allows me to create events on my calendar very fast, share it with people. You can make like a Google calendar invite, send it to people at the Zoom link. So it integrates all these different services that you would need to log into 3 different websites, right? So first to make your Google event, then on Zoom to provide the link, then to invite the people and all that stuff.
Fantastic. I've not heard of it before, but I'll be linking to that and I'll certainly investigate it. Thanks for sharing, Kay. What's your most recommended book?
That's a very difficult one because I read a lot and I think that book recommendations are very personal. It really depends on what stage in your life you're in and what you're interested in, right? For example, for people that want to do some personal development, the last book I read, I think, was The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F*** from Mark Manson. Really nice book. I think now he has a sequel called Everything Is... I haven't read it yet. Now, when it comes to, for example, people that we work with, like solopreneurs or personal brands, a really great book that I read recently is called .com Secrets. And it's from Russell Brunson, really great book, together with $1 Million Consulting. Definitely recommend this book. I don't agree necessarily with everything that they preach, but I think they're incredibly valuable.
Yeah, I think .com Secrets, you can agree or disagree with what Russell does, but it's actually a really interesting study about, one, how to write a book, because I think it's written in a really peculiar is probably the wrong term. It's quite a unique style that it's written in, isn't it? And it's quite meta because it's talking about itself as a marketing funnel of its own. And And you can either kind of run with what it suggests, or you can kind of build it for yourself, couldn't you? Basically, a lot of the ideas that they have in.
Yes, absolutely. First of all, the entire book is like a landing page made into a book. And it's true that none of these concepts are, new, but the way that he combines different things is very interesting. And to be honest, I'm a big fan of what we call the completion, let's say, theory. I don't know if this is a valid term, but I really enjoy using it. It basically means that having all the pieces of something is way more important than just having 90% of it. And in marketing, this is really important, and I think that's what this book brings. That's the value, that having an entire funnel, having the scripts, having the process is what actually drives the results. So you could do all of these things independently and not get the same outcome.
Very, very interesting books. I think they need to be applied correctly, though. Like if you take some bits out of it, and maybe don't apply it and don't understand the why underneath it. Really interesting. Some good recommendations there, Konstantinos. Thank you. Who's your most favorite YouTuber or podcaster?
I think this depends. I watch YouTube for entertainment, but I listen to podcasts to learn things mostly. On YouTube, I really enjoy Ali Abdal. He has a productivity channel. It's very entertaining, and you get to learn things, learn how to manage your time better, your life habits better. When it comes to podcasts, one that I'm listening in is called Authority Hacker. And it's kind of like an insider SEO podcast. It teaches you how to run websites that become popular, or affiliate sites. And what's surprising, that there is quite the overlap between affiliate sites and coaching websites. Both these two groups want to achieve results fast. They want to do things with not many resources. I just find it really interesting, although it's definitely for people in the marketing industry. And another one that I enjoy is, of course, all about digital marketing. I enjoy that there's so many different guests. There is a lot of variety, and you get to know a little bit of the people as well, which is super interesting to me, just to get to know these people and where they come from.
Konstantinos, as you well know, the host of All About Digital Marketing is my business partner, Chris Bruno, and he will be absolutely delighted that he's got a shout out on the JOD Pod. I can't wait to tell him. Thanks very much for those recommendations.
Well, he has a good podcast, and he's running it
good.
For
it is good.
Quite a long
it is
time.
Good. Yeah, 140 episodes we're up to now. It's going great, guns. If you're interested in digital marketing, definitely check out the All About Digital Marketing podcast. Who's an up and comer that you think we should be keeping an eye on in the future, like someone like Huffington, Bezos, or Musk?
Well, I think the next billionaire will be, or already is actually, Satoshi Nakamoto, whomever he, she, they are, the inventor of Bitcoin, but we will never know probably. But we should definitely keep an eye on the space. You never know what comes next.
Do you think it's a real person?
I don't know. Probably an entity, a person. No, but nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
I think that it's really interesting as an idea, that because as a society we're just so focused on great founders. Just the idea of having a great concept with an anonymous founder. It's super interesting. Maybe this will happen more in the future. I don't know.
Anonymous founders. I like that as a concept. Something to noodle on. And where's the best place for people to find you online and interact with you, Konstantinos?
Definitely LinkedIn at this time. I really enjoy the conversations there. I have a very active profile. But I'm also on Twitter, on Instagram, on my website, studioforddigitalgrowth.com. And I think that's pretty much it.
Fantastic. We'll make sure we link to all of those in the show notes. Don't worry about that. There we have it. Thank you, Konstantinos. Konstantinos is the co-founder of Studio for Digital Growth, a platform for marketing websites and news. He managed to get his first customer through networking, taking a phone call in a Costa coffee after an online debate about a Neil Patel article. Fascinating. His favourite app is Fantastical, and his most recommended book, his two most recommended books here, we've got The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F*** by Mark Manson and Russell Brunson's .com Secrets. He loves watching Ali Abdaal on YouTube. I second that. He's a great YouTube channel. Ali, if you want to jump on the podcast at any time, just give me a shout. And two podcasts that Konstantinos recommends, Authority Hacker and the All About Digital Marketing podcast hosted by Chris Bruno. Kay thinks that we should be keeping an eye on Satoshi Nakamoto, the elusive founder of Bitcoin, and maybe there will be future anonymous founders in the future. What an interesting concept that might be. And you can find out more about Konstantinos and the work that he's doing by heading to LinkedIn, jumping in the search bar and typing his name, which is Konstantinos Ntoukakis, which is spelt KONSTANTIONS Type that in the search bar in LinkedIn, send Konstantinos an invite, say that you heard him on the JOD Pod, and I'm sure he'll be your next best friend. Konstantinos, thanks for joining us today on the JOD Pod.
Thank you, James. Thanks for having me.
And thank you for joining us today on the JOD Pod for our interview with Konstantinos. To ensure that you don't miss out on any of these future interviews with founders, entrepreneurs, coaches, and authors, you need to play the YouTube game. You need to hit subscribe. You need to like this video, hit the bell so you know about future episodes that pop up, and ask Konstantinos a question in the comments. I can pretty much guarantee that he'll come back here and answer every single one of them. If you're an entrepreneur thinking about starting and need some help around SEO, throw an SEO question in there as well. I'm sure he can help each and every one of you out, and it'll make you feel so much better from supporting the channel. Hopefully you've been inspired by what Konstantinos has been talking about today. So please go and build something for yourselves. Go and create something and inspire the next generation. Thanks for joining us today on the JOD Pod. If you enjoyed this interview, why don't you check out some of these other interviews that we've done on the JOD Pod. More inspirational CEOs, coaches, entrepreneurs, founders, and authors. I'm sure there's something here that will inspire you to build something new.